Dolphins fans, what's up? I bear with me here. I'm gonna explain something. Um, I haven't been on a few days. Yesterday, I was gonna get on yesterday and do the preview and everything like that, and then I got off of work and I went to the gas station and I drive a heavily modified Toyota Tacoma. Okay, that's my daily driver is a Toyota Tacoma. Um, and when I say heavily modified, I mean literally everything on that truck is modded. Um, it's got 10 or 11 inches of lift total, so it's very tall. And Kat, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in. So it's a really tall truck, and I was getting out of it, and I slipped, and my feet fell forward, and my head went backwards, and my head slammed onto the floorboard of my truck, and then I hit really hard on the ice with my head. Um, Knocked myself out. Not even close to being conscious. And the instance here, this whole thing is really fuzzy still. So I hit my head really hard, knocked myself out, and then apparently what happened is I got up and just started wandering around the gas station parking lot at 40 below. I don't remember hardly any of it. Just walked around and Jay, what's up? Good to see you in here, dude. Thanks for coming. Um, and started just wandering around the parking lot. I was trying to figure out what was going on. I didn't know what happened, where I was, what I was doing, what I was supposed to be doing. I had no idea, right? And I ended up calling my wife. I was supposed to be meeting her to do some last minute Christmas stocking shopping, and I was completely incoherent, wasn't really talking right, and she got worried. Found out where I was, and she called her her brother, my brother-in-law, her brother, and he came and checked on me. Apparently, my pupils were dancing all over my skull. They were different sizes. I was all like falling all over myself, and he took me to the doctor. Everybody else met me there. I went to the hospital. I got a pretty serious concussion. Um, Tore my one of the muscles in your lower abdomen, right near your waistline. Tore one of those and busted up my arm pretty good, just from falling. My goodness, I fell. um, this is all yesterday, and today I'm feeling a little better. Still very very cloudy in my head. Um, so I mean that's why I didn't get on yesterday to do the preview. And we're going to talk a little bit about it today, but my head is not right yet. I'm still having a hard time, thinking, putting sentences together. Merry Christmas, dude. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It just got another concussion, and it's been, from the years of motocross and from the years of playing football, college and high school, and I've had a lot of concussions, and this one this one feels like the worst one I've ever had. And it's funny, doing motocross and playing football and getting some pretty good concussions. Uh and then I fall out of my truck, and that's the one that really wrecks me. So I mean, I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm alive, thank God, just a little fuzzy in the brain. And yeah, dude, that's pretty much what it is. I think it's just age. I'll be okay. Yeah, I know they're serious, and like I said, they when I was playing football years ago in high school and college and stuff, it was just you got to walk it off. Take a break and relax. You'll be fine. This was before concussions were such a big deal and everybody took them so seriously. Back then, they didn't. It wasn't serious. and now it is. And my wife's getting mad at me because all day today I'm having a hard time not being fixated on things. Like, we got like a foot of snow last night, of course, and I'm outside trying to shovel snow, and she comes out, she's like, "Put that shovel down. Get back inside. Stop screwing around. You can't be doing this." I know I'm not allowed to do things. I'm not supposed to be, but my brain is just not. I'm having a hard time. Gotta do something. Ain't got no gas in it. Oh man. But I'm here, and other than being a little cloudy and very sore, I'm okay. So, uh, gotta 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 move on from it. But these are the things. These are the lessons I'm learning now. I probably shouldn't have a truck with 10 inches of lift. I don't really need that much lift on my Tacoma, but here I am. I love my truck. I don't, it's a little bit of ice and I fall. That's all there is to it. Freak thing. But I remember everything now, what happened. I'm only a little fuzzy for the first like couple minutes from when I fell and hit my head. So, but I'm here. I'm good. I'm okay. We got this game coming up, and I know Dolphins world is freaking out, and there's about a million different directions everybody's taking all this stuff. Um, I don't, I don't, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so with as Quinn Ewers goes, there were some flashes in the pan. Okay, we'll say that. Let's leave it at that. There were some flashes in the pan, and there's a lot of things that could have been done better. I feel like some of the things that people are giving crap to Quinn Ewers about from that game last week, a lot of that was not really his fault. Some of it was play calling. Some of it was receivers not really making proper effort on the ball. His interceptions were meh. It wasn't. One of them was at the end of the game in garbage time. He was just trying to make something happen, and I can't really fault him for that. The game was already over, right? The other one, the ball was placed exactly where it needed to be. He led the receiver. He put it where he needed to. A couple things happened there. Number one, I feel like proper effort wasn't put forth to catch the ball, and number two, it was a fantastic job on defense, getting his hand up and knocking that ball in the air. So both those picks, I'm not upset about. These aren't picks like Tua just throwing them straight up into the air. Okay, these were one was a good defensive play, and the other one was garbage time trying to make something happen. Can't really fault him for that, right? So flashes in the pan for Quinn Ewers. Intrigued. I'm excited to see him play again this week. And like I will be for the week after too. No matter what happens this week, you can't just play a quarterback one game and say, "Oh, well now we know he's trash." No, that's not. It's just not that simple. Also, he threw for more yards than Tua has, except for one time this year, and that was against the Patriots in week 2, something like that. So I'm not disappointed at all. I'm actually encouraged a lot of what I saw. Good zip on the ball from Quinn Ewers in that game. Very, very composed. Oh, yeah, very composed. He seems calm and composed, confident in the pocket against pressure, not scared and shifty like Tua has been this year. I agree. He seemed to be doing okay. I liked his command. I liked the decision making process that he took. You could see him going through progressions, which is a nice thing to see, especially from a rookie quarterback. And Mike McDaniel did say something in the press conference where he said it did not seem like the moment was too big or the game was too big for Quinn Ewers, and I agree. I do agree with that, with Mike McDaniel saying that. I was, like I said, flashes in the pan. That's what I was hoping to see. And am I saying that, oh, this is our starting quarterback next year? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that if he continues to show these flashes and this general command of the offense that he seemed to show uh, in this first game, it would be worth hanging on to him, keeping him on the team. Giving him a shot at competing for a quarterback position on this team. I think that's what we're looking for here. He didn't look great, but I wouldn't say garbage. I would not. Um, the like I said, the interceptions were they were meh. And as far as the touchdowns, yeah, he didn't have a touchdown pass. It was like I said, there was a lot of things that could have been better, but what I was looking for was flashes in the pan, and I did see those. Um, oh man, you guys are crazy. What? Let me ask a question. What would you like to have seen from Quinn Ewers to make you say might be worth hanging on to him? What would you have to have seen? If you're of the opinion that he didn't show you enough in one game to be like, well, I want to see him again. If you didn't see that, what would you have had to have seen for that to be? Keep in mind, this is a rookie quarterback who's never played a single game other than a couple snaps in the NFL in a regular season game. What would you have had to have seen? That's my question. Yeah, I wouldn't say QB1. Like I said, that's not what I'm looking for. I just want to know, is this a quarterback worth hanging on to and continuing to develop as a backup, or giving him a shot to compete? Consistent play from first half to second half and at least a touchdown or no picks. Well, one of those picks was a tip ball, a perfectly placed throw that ended up getting tipped into the air. So you can't really hold that one against him. No matter how much you hate him or love him, you can't hold that against him. And I'm not being a quarterback apologist here. It's just that's the way that is. Um, the other thing would be the other pick that was thrown in garbage time when we have already lost the game. He was just trying to make something happen. I mean, was it a quick decision? Yeah. But how many of those interceptions that we saw Tua throw all year were the same? I mean, they were all like that, and most of those weren't in garbage time for his picks. So, I mean, like I said, I what I saw was meh stats, but I saw flashes in the pan, and that's about all I was hoping to see. Something to see me want to see more, to make me want to see more. Apologies. Yeah, I mean, he did okay, and like I said, the two picks were a bummer. One of them I absolutely will not fault him for at all. The tipped pass that got picked, that was a perfectly thrown ball. It was beautiful. And if you look at the rest of the receivers on that play, that was the proper read. It was just a fantastic defensive play and a little bit of a lackadaisical effort to get to the ball by the receiver. The other one you could put on Ewers for sure. My thought is it was just garbage time. So, and now we're sitting here and we're about to go up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and this is our final home game for the year. Tampa Bay has done everything they can to screw their season completely, the second half of the year. So, I mean, I would have expected 500 yards, 12 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's my thought. He has had no time with the first teamers. This was his first dip into actual NFL play, and that's where I'm at with it. So, it's enough for me to want to see more. I'm not saying this is the second coming of Christ. I'm not saying this is our new quarterback. I'm not saying anything like that. I don't necessarily believe that, but I'd like to see more of him. And with the situation the Dolphins are in this year, I mean, what are we? This is what we should be doing with the rest of the season, is checking this stuff out and seeing what we have in these players. I thought it was good to bring Weiss off the practice squad and put him in the game. We need to see him, right? This is the time to be doing that with these players, is getting some of these guys some play time and see what we have. Look for those flashes in the pan. Is it worth bringing them back, or should we just move on? Let's not continue wasting time with players that aren't going to prove fruitful in the end. There needs to be at least for a young player, there needs to be some flashes in the pan right off the bat. I'm sorry. There has to be. If there's not, we need to move on. So needed to establish run more, open up the play action. I agree. The run game was a little stagnant, and part of that was play calling. The other part was just it wasn't a good game for the offensive line either. Now, granted, they didn't do horribly, but as far as the run game goes, our offensive line wasn't great. Certainly not as good as they have been, right? And which is shocking to me because this was a bad defense we played. 32nd ranked run defense we played against. So that's not a fair comparison, though, Kat. I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't care if Phillip Rivers is 44. I don't. He's got the experience. He's done it, right? That's just it's not a fair comparison. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying Quinn Ewers was great or good. I'm just saying I saw a couple flashes and I want to see more. I want to see what he can do with a couple weeks of preparation instead of just 4 days. So we'll see. We'll see. Continue the QB evaluation. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm at with it. Now, my next question is do you guys want to see Zach Wilson? Do we want to see Zach Wilson in the game a little bit? That's a good question. I know there's a lot of people that want Zach Wilson to play. I wouldn't necessarily be against it. I don't think that Zach Wilson is going to be with the team next year, but I mean, you're right. You're right about that. He's got a dad bod. I'm not going to complain about it because I have one as well. Dad life. # dad life. That's what I'm thinking too. Is like the Dolphins probably aren't going to keep him next year, and if that's the case, there's not really any point in playing him. And I want to see more Ewers. I want to see a couple games here. I'm excited to have at least 3 games to see him play. Right, it'll give us a little bit of a sample size, not much, not the biggest sample size, but enough to evaluate. Hey, is there enough flashes in the pan to want to continue to make efforts at developing him? There are things I do like, right? But there's some things that I don't, and time will tell. Time will tell. Another big question that we have to ask ourselves is if Tua was in this game, would the outcome have been different? And what do you guys think there? Me personally, I don't think the game would have been different. I think this outcome would have pretty much been the same, maybe a few points here or there. But for the most part, I think this game would have been the same with Tua or with Ewers. You know, Kat, that's an interesting point. Maybe we should save that for one of these days when in the off season when you and I can talk about it. I'd like that would be a good one for you to come on with me and we can talk about that. Shoot, we could make an entire 2-hour episode about that, 2 hours straight of all the assistant coaches and who should go, who should stay. Because there's a couple offensive coaches or I'm sorry, this is the concussion talking now. There's a few assistant coaches on this team that I would like to evaluate and maybe not have them back. That's an excellent point. Me too. There's a notebook. I got this notebook that's full of stupid little notes on all the assistant coaches, on the head coach, on our defensive coordinator, on everybody, not players, right? On everybody else. I got all kinds of notes. So we could totally do an entire episode about that for sure. Your channel or mine, either way. But that would definitely be a good one, Cat, for sure. Jay says the results would have with Tua would have been no different. They said they would have scored 70. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like it's one of those things where it sucks because you want to see somebody come in and save the team, right? You want to see a quarterback do excellent, do great. But I mean, how many times does that happen? Tom Brady didn't even have a good game his first time on the field. It's one of those things where and I'm not saying Quinn Ewers is Tom Brady. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we need to give some time here. I'm going to withhold judgment on Quinn Ewers until I have a few games to look at. And that's only going to be a partial judgment, right? That's only going to be to say, should we keep him or should we look elsewhere for a backup quarterback? Is he worth developing on the team? That's all that these 3 games are going to tell me. Nothing more. Is he a good quarterback? Is he a great quarterback? Is he a bad quarterback? That's 3 games is not going to tell me that, especially from a rookie. I am one of the people that refuses to throw any rookie to the side just because they had a bad year, bad game, bad few games, bad 10 games. I'm not going to do that. Sometimes it just takes a while to develop. And late bloomers can be Hall of Famers too. So I want to see more. That's all. No accountability, no leadership, and coaching adjustments, both sides. If it's not coaching adjustments, it's players not adjusting with what the coaches are saying. Either way, it's the same result, right? And since we have that huge deficit from the third quarter in these games, it tells me that there's a definite disconnect there with making adjustments. The discussion now are the flaws the roster has now that use isn't the lightning rod. There are flaws elsewhere too. Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. This isn't one of those things. This isn't one of those things where it was all to his fault. It's never been that. And people who say that it is, they're high. Tua has definitely played subpar for sure, and he's lost us a few games. But definitely not the only issue. And I agree. Pass blocking, while stat wise, it doesn't paint as bad of a picture as what we're seeing in games. You're right. It's in the gutter. It's not good. It's improved. It's getting better, but it's not great yet. It's not good yet. Run blocking is much better. So it kind of leads a skewed vision of what the offensive line is doing this year. From what I saw, we don't know if we have the next Brady or not. It didn't look too big for him, and I liked what I saw. He has some real potential. At this point, I would agree with some of that. I mean, it definitely didn't look too big for him. I don't think he's the next Tom Brady. I did like some of the things I saw. I didn't like some of it, but I liked some enough of it to say, yeah, I'd like to see him again in the next game. I think there's potential there. Like I keep saying, there was some flashes in the pan. Merry Christmas to you too, dude. Merry Christmas. He had a bad last season in college and opted to go pro. I think Ewers needs time to learn the way he threw the ball effortlessly. Gave some hope. He may be a good backup or even a starter someday. Might be. You're right. There's a possibility there. And I just want to see more. No, because the only 2 quarterbacks that are interesting me in this draft, they're both going to be first round picks, absolutely. And the Oregon quarterback, he might not even come out this year. He's a maybe. A lot of people think he will, but we'll see. And the only 2 quarterbacks that are really going to be worth it, they're both going to be first rounders. I'm not really interested in anybody else in this draft as far as quarterbacks go, but that might change as we get nearer the draft. We'll just have to wait and see, I mean, yeah, I would be too. Yeah, do what he said right there. The like button, subscribe, all that. Yeah, do all that. That's helpful. It makes a big difference hitting that little like button. It takes no effort too. You just take your mouse or your finger and you click on that thumbs up or you take your mouse and point it at it and click on the mouse. That's all you do. It's really easy. It helps a bunch. And then you come over here to the comment section and you type something like Frozen Fin Fan, you're a moron, I hate you, or hey, good show. Thanks for putting this out. Either way it helps. Even if you don't like it, just comment. Tell me why. Those things help out a bunch, especially since I'm questing to 500. My goal is to be at 500 subscribers before the season starts next year. So I can't even remember what I'm at. I'm at like just under 400 somewhere. So long way to go. Help me out here. Let me get these numbers up. Kyler Murray's commitment to football, you're saying, is that the move, a possible trade or acquiring him? Cat in the Hat has a lot to say about Kyler, and some of it I agree with. Some of it I'm a little more apprehensive than he might be. It definitely has legs. Okay, this whole thing about Kyler Murray, what Miami really needs, and some people might disagree with me here, but what I think Miami desperately needs is a quarterback that has some dual threat potential. Can throw a good ball, has some zip, and is able to run. Not like, the best running back in the NFL. I'm not talking about that, but the ability to get downfield if he needs to. We need a quarterback like that. I really think that's best. It's the best in the best interest of the Miami Dolphins to move away from the pure pocket passer. I think that's would be a good move for us, especially considering our offensive line and what they're gifted towards right now. Granted, we could completely revamp the offensive line and change a bunch of things, and it might be different next year. But right now, what I'm looking at, somebody like Kyler Murray could be beneficial, if nothing else, as a bridge quarterback. Not someone we're going to make our franchise QB, but someone to get us through until we find a franchise quarterback. 380, that's what I'm at. Thanks, Blake. I could not remember. My brain is so fuzzy right now. Merry Christmas, Christian Leap. Mr. Paul, thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. So we're at this point where it's just Elwood says no more short people. Oh, come on. We can put them on stilts, bro. Not even kidding. I'll stop watching this team. I'm not saying we need Kyler Murray. I'm saying that it would be good to have a quarterback with some mobility, right? That's my point. Is someone who can be good running if he has to. Not somebody that we have to panic or freak out every time they get outside of the pocket. So maybe not so much Kyler, but somebody with that dual threat mentality, right? On Mike McDaniel's passing concepts? Oh. Well, I'll be honest. Sometimes it seems a little weird. There's a couple things in his passing organization, and his play creation that kind of confuses me. Number one, there's a lot of plays every game where you see 2 or 3 receivers within 5 or 6 yards of each other. Now, I understand the natural pick scheme, and I understand what screening receivers can do, but we've got burned a couple times this year by being called for illegal picks on players. And it's happened. It happened actually. I think it happened in the game last week. That's one thing I do notice. I feel like sometimes Mike McDaniel doesn't take advantage of the 3 levels of the football field from a passing scheme perspective. Right? You have the short game, you have the short to backfield, you have the middle of the field, and you have the deep top end of the field. And I feel like sometimes Mike McDaniel doesn't maximize the entire field and spread it out enough. A lot of times you always see 1 or 2 receivers, or a receiver and a tight end, or 3 receivers so close to each other. It just seems like it's making it easier on the defense to do their job, and that's not something I'm a fan of, obviously. There is, and like I said, yep, that's the other downside, right? Now, it's not every QB that has mobility that has issues with these, right? But the problem is what you see happening is usually is a quarterback that has good mobility. Um, they run the risk of getting hurt, right? Obviously, longevity is always a concern, and a quarterback that's going to run sometimes is going to give you longevity questions. Sure, I understand that completely, and I'm not saying that I want a quarterback that's looking to run, but I want a quarterback that can get out of his own way if he has to. That's what I mean when I say mobility, not necessarily looks to run, right? And yeah, it's just a band-aid. That's pretty much it. See, I don't know. I know I didn't know that Murray was like that. Does he really not do much preparation and stuff like that? I mean, I know he's got. I've heard the rumors that we all have. I'm sure. I'm just not sure how how much of an issue it actually is. Do we have anybody who's a little closer to the Cardinals' comings and goings that knows the answer to that? Right. Yes. Bring in Fields and run the wishbone. Oof. I don't know about the Fields part, but I'm not a big hater on Marcus Mariota. I know a lot of people are, but I'm not. I'm not a hater of Marcus Mariota. Is he a first string good quarterback? I wouldn't say he's first string, but I think he could service a lot of teams in the NFL as a good backup. So I don't necessarily hate Marcus Mariota. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What up, Cap? Thanks for coming in, dude. Did you hear about the Kansas City Chiefs possibly moving out of Kansas City to Kansas City out of the Missouri side? Yeah, I heard about that. Is that going to change anything, really? I mean, is that going to make a difference? Kyler. I think he just typoed. Kyler Murray plays a lot of COD, and when they did his last contract, I actually put a stipulation in it for him to study, but they ended up taking that part out of the contract. Really, that's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought the COD stuff was just a joke. That's real. That's crazy. I wonder. I you know what's funny? I went and did a lot of research on the whole burial ground thing that the stadium is built on for Miami. There is some legitimate evidence for something going on there. Like it's kind of creepy when you really if you really start doing research into it, it's creepy. Maybe I should do a video on that. Like not a live stream, but an actual video. Um I haven't done much in the way of my 15-20 minute videos that I used to do a lot of. I've kind of gotten so much more satisfaction and interaction from live streaming that I've kind of gotten away from doing my regular videos. But maybe something like that would be a good thing to do a video on because it's actually creepy and they're very well as far as the Dolphins go, not the Chiefs, but as far as the Dolphins go, it would might be interesting to kind of go through all that. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, the one thing we'd have to remind ourselves about Kyler Murray, and it's like what Kat said, it would be a band aid. It would be something that we would do for maybe a season. This wouldn't be a long term answer. It would be a short term thing. It would be short term, and it would be something to get us through until a draft where we could find a better quarterback. And like I said, if we got Kyler Murray, you can pretty much just put a push on the next season, because nobody would be expecting us to do anything while bridging for the next draft. Yeah, and it's the same with Mariota for sure. You're right, Mr. Polk. It's the same thing. This is one of those things where it's just it's not anything other than a Band-Aid and a continuance, right? We're just looking to get through until we can make us a permanent solution, or hope for a permanent solution, because there's no guarantee that that's going to do anything. And that's the kicker. It's all a gamble, right? It's all a gamble. But like I said, we're at a point in the season where we're not looking at playoffs. And honestly, I haven't been looking at playoffs for weeks. Even when we were technically still in it, I've just been looking at evaluations, because that's the part that's really interesting me right now anyway, is where we're going to go with this as a team from here on out. What are we going to be doing with the head coach? What are we going to be doing with the defensive coordinator? What are we going to be doing with the rest of the assistant coaches? What are we going to be doing with these players? This right here, from my own you are voicing. This is the voice of Miami Dolphins fans right here. I just want a playoff win. It's been 25 years. There is not one Miami Dolphins fan on this planet that would disagree with you. That's what we all want. You're 100% right. Now, here's my question for you. I'm going to ask you this directly if you're still listening. In order to get that 25-year monkey off of our back, in order to get a playoff win, a sustained drive into the playoffs, in order for that to happen, would you sacrifice massive success next year in order for that to happen the year after? Because I would. I would love nothing more than to have a playoff win next year. But if that meant, I'm not going to say tanking, because I want to win every game. I'm always rooting for Miami to win. But if it meant building next year to have proper success and a properly built team the year after, if it meant kind of a push for next year, would you be down for that? Because I would. If I knew and I saw that we were building proper and doing the right things with the team across the board, even if all the draft picks didn't work out, but if I saw proper effort in the coaching staff and our general manager selection, things like that, would it be worth it to you? It would totally be worth it to me, because I agree with this statement. I just want a playoff win. And this okay, so it depends on if the year after we are a lot better. I would say no. The year after we knew we were going for a rebuild, yes. I think we are headed for a rebuild. Now the big question is does that involve the head coach and the defensive coordinator? Because Anthony Weaver hasn't been as big of a disappointment, I think, as Mike McDaniel has this year. But I feel like if one goes, they should both go. I'm not really overly impressed with either one. And I'm just a podcaster. I'm just doing a Miami Dolphins podcast. So I'm not saying what I'm saying is 100% true. It's just my personal opinion. I think things could be a lot better on both ends. So I just realized that my camera was off this whole time. I had no clue. Once again, that's one of those things. This concussion is ridiculous. I can't even think. one of those ESPN heads said Fins trade the 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s for first overall Giants for Mendoza. Do you think, and this is one of those things where I think I say, do we think that the only issue we have is a quarterback? Because making a move, the ESPN heads, if making a move like this suggests that we just need a quarterback and everything else is great. And I'm not sure 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s is worth it. And I'm always hesitant with the draft anyway. Is this something that we're guaranteed to have results with? Are we guaranteeing Mendoza as the next Tom Brady? Are we guaranteeing to Mendoza as Joe Montana 2.0? As Dan Marino 2.0? Because I just don't know. I just don't know. Elwood says I'd drive that tank. Oh, man. I want to get that on a shirt. I want to get a shirt made that says that. I don't think Mendoza I would not be willing to mortgage our future on that. We should trade down 2027. We have so much more cap. Yeah. I agree. He needs more time. Like I said, saw some flashes in the pan. That's what I was hoping for. I want to see more. And this right here, get O-line first or throwing QB to the Wolves. I do agree. I think we need to get some more offensive line help and more work there for sure. And that's why another reason why I feel like giving everything just to get Mendoza would be a mistake, just because then we can't give any attention to the other positions that we need attention for, like offensive line, cornerback. We need help in these positions, and we're not going to be able to get it if we give up everything for Mendoza. Then we're going to be in a situation where we have a good quarterback and a garbage team. So I don't know. I'm sure a lot of this stuff will become more clear as we move closer to the draft and free agency and everything else. We'll see what ends up happening. But we got this game coming up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is an NFL football game. Miami Dolphins are getting 5.5 points, so Tampa Bay is favored. They're giving 5.5. The over/under is 46.5 points, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a 68.5% chance to win this game over Miami. And like I said, the ESPN analytics matchup predictors, they're incredibly accurate. I give a lot of crap to stats and stuff, but that matchup predictor on ESPN that's fueled by the analytics system is actually pretty accurate. Tampa Bay has a 68.5% chance. Does that mean Tampa Bay is going to win? Nope. I'll be rooting for Miami to find a way to win. Exactly. We keep giving away picks. Part of the reason we're in this spot. Build through the draft, not overpaid free agents. Exactly. That's the only reason I would think that getting rid of a bunch of picks just to get one pick is a mistake. That would be interesting. I got to do a little more research on Chris Paul. I'm not 100% sold on him. He is solid. I just want to see. I need to look more into him. But as I recall, I think he is a free agent this year. Just throwing that out there. He plays for New Orleans, right? I think that's where he's at. Yeah, I would see James Daniels not being around. There's some language in his contract that makes it to where we probably won't be with him. We won't have him this year coming up. What a bust that was, huh? Yep. That's it right there. They've got a reason to win, and that's part of it. Why I think that. I mean, if I had to the gun to my head, if I had to pick somebody to win this game, I would say that the Bucks are going to win. But I'm gonna root for Miami. I'm gonna say that this is gonna be it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Um, I would look for Ewers to have a much better game in this one, but I don't see us getting blown out in this game. Last home game of the year. I'm gonna root for us to move to 7-9 on the season. A couple things to look at. Jalen Waddle is sitting at 910 yards. He's got 2 more games to get to that 1,000-yard mark for the year. He needs 90 more yards. I think he'll end up getting that. If things go the way I think they're going to end up going in this game, I would think that Jalen Waddle hits or gets awfully close to that 1,000-yard mark in this game. Couple players to watch in this on offense. Number one is going to be Jalen Waddle in this game. I would not be surprised to see him haul down a touchdown in this game, and probably get close to 80, 90 yards. So if he ends up getting his 1,000-yard mark in this game, I won't be surprised. Obviously, you need to watch Devon Achane and Jalen Wright. The run game needs to return to what it was up until last week. It was good up until last week. We need to get it going again. Right now it's 4 degrees below zero. It warmed up last night and started to snow. It's still snowing, and as soon as it stops snowing here tonight, it's gonna drop back down to 20 or 30 below. So we're having a little bit of a heat wave right now just for it, so it's able to snow. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but when it gets really cold, it doesn't snow. There's no snow possible when it's 40 below. So it warmed up, it's snowing, and then it's gonna stop snowing and get cold again. Me too. Me too. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys noticed. I am a Cater Kohu fan. That's his old number, but I love Cater Kohu. I love his story. It's a dream of mine to get him on my channel and talk to him. I'm gonna try really hard to establish comms with him and Storm Duck because I love the undrafted free agent story, and we have 2 of them that are blossoming on this team. Cater Kohu, obviously, and Storm Duck, who up to before his injury, the guy got better every single time he played. Got better and better. So I hope those guys are back next year. I would love nothing more than to see both of them available for games. So yeah, I would love to get either one of them on this channel. I want to get a couple players to come on here, and it's very difficult to do that. I'm a small channel, right? So the more subscribers I get, the more chance I have of getting a hold of one of these guys to come talk to me. I do think the secondary will be better next year just because we'll have a lot of players back. Like I said, the 2 guys that were probably going to be our starters for our secondary both got hurt before the season. And, well, Storm Duck got hurt a few games into the season, but either way, I mean, we haven't had our starting cornerbacks this entire year. So it's a bummer. And I think that the replacements that we've had play those positions have done admirably. I think Jack Jones turned out to be pretty beneficial to us this year. And could things have been better? Sure, but not bad. It's not bad for them. There's always room for improvement just about in every position on this team. So got to get some things going. Right now, as I'm looking at it, it's supposed to be 80 degrees and sunny in Miami for this game. I think he does. Maybe not as a starting running back, but definitely a solid fill-in. I really like our running back room. I know some people don't like certain aspects of it, but Jalen Wright and Devon Achane and Ollie Gordon, I like that setup. And one of the main things I like about that setup is they're all on smaller contracts right now. Now we're going to have to give money to Devon Achane if we want to keep him. And like I said, if we end up having to get rid of Devon because of the money that he's going to command eventually, I hope that we can find a way to keep him. But right now, the way the money is, I don't see it. So hopefully we can hang on to all three of them. I would love to hang on to all three. But time will tell. So, well, I did not know that. Baker Mayfield is already over 3,000 yards passing for the year, even though he's been struggling the last few games. Good for him. I don't know. Right now, for my prediction for this game, I'm going to say Tampa Bay probably wins this 27-24. I am not going to be rooting for that. I'm going to be rooting for Miami to pull out the win. But gun to my head, if I had to make a pick to save my life, 27-24 Tampa Bay. I do think Quinn Ewers has a couple touchdown passes in this game, likely an interception as well. But all I'm looking for right now is improvement each week to week from Quinn Ewers, and I'm looking for continued poise because we did see that in this game. We saw him take command of the pocket or take command of the team. He did well enough with that. You might be right. You might be right, dude. I'm not even going to argue with you on that. There's no way to argue, right? It's an opinion, right? But it's based. It's a based opinion. It's not something that is so out of left field that I could argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that. You might very well be right. In which case, hopefully the end comes soon. And then the whole new question starts is who's going to be the next owner of the Miami Dolphins? Who's that going to be? Need a little bit of consistency, right? It's not going to benefit us to continually change these things, to continually be going through coaches, to continually be going through this stuff. Something needs to be consistent from year to year. And that's not me saying keep Mike McDaniel, because I just don't know right now. I seem to be going back and forth on should we keep him or should we not. Seems like every week. Yeah, depending on the results. Yeah, I mean, I think we could get a little higher or closer to the beginning of the draft if everybody's lost every or won every game from here on out that's ahead of us. But realistically, I think it's anywhere from 12th to 8th is what we're going to wind up with. I guess you're right. Something is consistent. We're never winning a playoff game. Yeah, that's consistent. You're right about that. If Frost designates his kids to keep ownership, it's going to be rough. I don't know. Maybe we get lucky with one of his kids. 28-24, Elwood says, Finn's upset the Bucks, Achane goes off. I would not be upset. I would not be upset at that at all. It could be just what the doctor ordered. So we'll see what ends up happening here. We got a good weekend coming up. Tomorrow is Christmas. Tomorrow's Christmas, everybody. And even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you celebrate something else. It's still that time of year. That's why they call it the holidays. So what I would ask is for each of you guys to remember the important stuff. Your family, your health. Remember all of that. Be grateful for this time of year. Grateful for the time with family. If you don't live near your loved ones, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your uncle, your brothers, your sisters, if you don't live next to them, give them a call and tell them you love them. Say Merry Christmas. All that good stuff. Enjoy all the great football that we're going to be able to watch this week. There's going to be a lot of it. We got games on Thursday, on Christmas Day. We got games on Saturday, on Sunday. It's going to be awesome. So enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Christmas weekend. I'm grateful for all you. I'm grateful for you guys that come in here every time I put up a stream and come in here and hang out and talk Dolphins and shop with me. Those of you that are in here, make sure you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, do that, please. Throw the likes down. It helps out a bunch. I'm going to try to get my head better after this concussion. It's just now been about 24 hours since it happened, so I'm not quite out of the woods with it yet. So I'm going to be watching just about every game I can. That's you can count on that. I like watching football. It doesn't have to be Dolphins. Obviously, I love my Dolphins, but I like watching football. So any game that's on, I'm going to be watching it. So usually what I do is I have a game on the TV, and then I have my pirating app that I use on my phone to watch anything I want, from football to basketball to baseball to boxing to UFC, whatever I want to watch. I do it on my phone. And so I'll be watching multiple games if I have to. I watch as much as I can. I love sports. So definitely be watching as much as I can. Probably not every game, but a significant amount. Let's see. Dolphins game is early game on Sunday, so look for me to put out a stream probably around midday on Sunday, maybe early afternoon on Sunday. We'll get together. I'll do an open mic, and we'll all come in and we'll talk about the game and where to go from here. Until then, thank you everybody for watching. Throw those likes down. Make sure you subscribe. Support the channel by donating to Cash App if you so choose. Do not feel like you have to. I'd never insist on that. And thanks for watching. Until we talk again, please, everybody, Merry Christmas. Stay hopeful. And we'll talk to you guys next time.